Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we had just the free agency portion and not starting up the season yet, but getting our roster set up for the upcoming season, which should be kind of an intriguing year because obviously we do have some injection from the system, which will be nice. Obviously, we did also trade away Ethan Morrow in that last episode, but Jordan Eberle is going to get a chance to probably make his NHL debut this season in our top six, so I'm hoping for a big year from him. Maybe some good growth, maybe some good rookie season. Like maybe he could be up there as a rookie of the year candidate if he produces well next to Sean Horkoff and also Andrew Cogliano. And then from a defensive standpoint, Jeff Petrie has been called up from the AHL as well, so it should be interesting to see what he could do offensively and defensively. He had a pretty solid season last year in Springfield. They didn't make the playoffs, but he was still pretty good, so expecting him to hopefully give us a bit of offense from the back end and also maybe some okay defensive plays. So excited for that. And then lastly, Devin Dubnyk is also going to be making his first start in the NHL. Obviously, he played a few games last year in the NHL. He wasn't very good at it, but this is now his time to take over that backup spot from Delorier. And then hopefully he can become a starter for us eventually instead of having Bullen. But if Dubnyk doesn't, at least we do have some goalie prospects now that we drafted Grubauer and all that. So I'm excited to see what this team can do this season. I don't think we're going to be a playoff team, but obviously if we start to oversimulate because some of these guys are too good, we could always flip them away. Like Sean Horkoff could end up becoming a trade bait candidate if we get him to waive his no movement clause, because obviously that no movement clause is still in effect for a few more years. And then also there's guys like maybe Hemsky could get dealt with in these next few years potentially if we want to. He has only signed for one more season after this, so it's like either we hold on to him maybe till he retires or we decide to part ways with him because we probably won't be good by the time he's a pending UFA. Guys like Patrick O'Sullivan could be a free agent in the next few years. We did re-sign him to a long-term contract, but maybe he's a guy that we look to part ways at some point. Aside from that, a lot of these other guys are quite young, so it's not a bad idea to hold on to them and see if they could outgrow their potential or they could just become what they currently are. So it should be an interesting season ahead for the NHL team in that sense. And yeah, I'm hoping that at least some of the younger guys could get some good playing time and get some good stats. So that way we could at least start that portion of the rebuild. And then hopefully we also have some good drafts ahead as well to basically just help with our prospect pool and get it deep as possible before we actually start to try and contend again like we did last season. But anyways, before we start up the 2010-11 season, let's get your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode. And then we'll probably get into simulating a couple of months. Like we might simulate to like January the 1st or the halfway point of the season just to see what our team's up to at that point. And then we could obviously decide on what players we want to part ways with this season. So the first comment is from Jared the Rabbit, who says career with the Kings is cursed. And yeah, it's kind of cursed in a way. I don't think it's as bad, obviously, as like maybe, I don't know, maybe it would be worse if it was Timo Solani on the Kings instead. Korea to me on the Kings really isn't that scary, but I guess to a Ducks fan, maybe it would be. But yeah, Paul Kariya signed there in free agency. LA also added some other really good pieces, so there is a chance that they could be a cup contender this year. So Kariya's now on that second line left wing, right behind Ryan Smith. They also brought in, I think it was a couple other players, if I remember right. I think at least. Oh yeah, Paul Martin was the other big free agent signing for them. So they're definitely a scary team, and I do fully expect them to win a Stanley Cup either this season or next season or maybe the season after that. So it would be interesting to see if they could actually win a cup like in real life. The next comment is from Noah M47, who says maybe Eberle to the AHL for 1 year and get a worse coach. And I mean, we could give Eberle at least like a little trial run to see how he's doing as a top six forward first. I'd probably prefer to hold him into the NHL just because he's almost too good for the AHL as a depth forward, but he's kind of just on the tweener part of the NHL. So it's like, it's kind of tough to make that decision. I think I'd prefer to hold him there. And then he was also saying about maybe getting a worse coach. Now, we could look for a worse coach to help us tank, but at the same time, maybe we just keep with the current coach, because obviously if we get a worse coach, there's a chance guys like Eberle might not develop really good, which is not ideal. So we might honestly just keep Kessler for now, but if we're over-simulating, maybe we look for somebody else. But currently, Eberle's a fit with this coach is pretty solid, so we might honestly want to keep with this coach for the time being. but at some point we could obviously look for a different coach to maybe make us worse. But this coach is fine for now. But yeah, definitely at some point in time, once we're going through the rebuild, we probably want a worse coach so that way we simulate really, really bad. Next comment is from Sound Taku, who says, keep Eberle in the NHL. He could have a breakout year on what is likely to be a mediocre team. And yeah, it's true. Our team is looking like it will likely have a bad season. So keeping Eberle in the NHL and getting him at least some playing time in the NHL, seeing what he could do next to some veteran players like Horkov and I guess technically Cogliano, even though he's not really a veteran, I guess, at this point. But I think it'll be interesting to see what he could do. And hopefully, like I said, he gets up in overall throughout the season. Like if he jumps up to like an 82 overall by the end of year one, that would be actually pretty nice. Definitely would help us out having that next replacement basically for Hemsky once Hemsky decides to leave here, because I don't really know if I would hold on to Hemsky until his career is done, and we would probably have to trade him away next season if we don't want to trade him away this season. But he's definitely got a lot of value, so I think we could probably fetch a pretty penny for Ales Hemsky if we want to at some point, and maybe at some point in time Eberle becomes that first-line right winger. And the last and final comment is from Max Herman, who says, trade away Sean Horkov. He is getting old and doesn't fit this lineup. And I don't really know if we'll part ways with Horkov just yet. Obviously, at the trade deadline, it could be an option. We could look into seeing if he'll waive his no-movement clause. But for right now, obviously, I want Eberle to get some good growth. So having a center like Horkov next to him, I think, is fine. Obviously, at some point in time, having Gilbert Brule next to Eberle might not be a bad idea. So we could definitely still part ways with Horkov, but I don't think I want to do it before the season starts. I'd prefer to wait and see first how Horkov's doing and then decide to trade him away or not, because right now we'd have to get him to waive it. Obviously, if we wait a few more years, he has that modified no trade clause, but I feel like he could end up retiring right around that point in time as well. So we'll see what we end up doing with Horkov, but we could get him to waive potentially at some point this season. So for right now, he'll stay as our second line center, but at some point, maybe Brule gets a better opportunity. And then we do also have some center prospects like Hodgson, who we brought in from the Ethan Morrow deal. We also do have some other prospects like Burmistrov, who could take over for a center spot like Horkov's eventually down the road. So I'm excited to see how all those prospects develop, and hopefully they develop in the right way. But with that said, let's get into simulating a little bit. Actually, we should do the season goals first, because nobody actually mentioned any season goals we should give out. We're probably going to give out at least a few season goals. I know a lot of you guys don't like seeing all this type of due diligence, but we're going to give out at least a couple just so we could kind of see if we could get some guys achieving maybe some more X factors and stuff like that. So first and foremost, Ales Hemsky obviously being our best player. We're probably just going to do one for assists, just because he's obviously a very good passer. I could go award challenge, but I don't think he's going to win an award this year. Let's just go 40 assists and see if we could get that better. That would help his trade value going up too. Sure, I could always give to, but I don't really need to. Sam Gagne I'll probably give to, because we might as well try and get these younger guys especially to start developing good. So Sam Gagne, let's do it an assist-based one as well for you, because you're a face-off guy and you're down the middle. Let's see if we could get you some more assists. And then we'll probably do a couple other younger guys as well. Like, we probably won't do O'Sullivan. I mean, I could do O'Sullivan, but he's probably at his capped point anyways. We'll do Cogliano, and then we'll probably do a few other guys as well. But I do want to see if I can start getting some of these guys to develop decently. So, Cogliano, what do I want for you as a stat challenge? Let's go plus minus, maybe. Or maybe I could go block shots. He is a good defensive forward, but I don't know if he blocks a lot of shots. He isn't taking face-offs this year, really. So, yeah, let's just go plus minus for him, I guess. I don't really want him to be a really good plus minus, though, because that would mean our team is probably pretty decent if he is, but we might as well still give him some goals to achieve. Gilbert Brule is relatively young. We might as well see if we can get Brule to outgrow his current potential. So let's do another assist-related one for him as well, just because we could probably get him to get 20 assists, I would assume. Because he's not the craziest offensive player in the world, but he's better offensively, I would say, than defensively. Nilsson probably doesn't matter. Pouliot, same thing. Devin Dubnyk, we might as well give in to him since he is in his first season as our NHL backup goaltender. So we will do... I guess I could do to stay on the season, the team for this entire season. He's not going to win 30 games as a backup. A 910 save percentage this season as a backup is kind of tough. So I think we're just going to go stay on the NHL team for the entire season for Dubnyk, because obviously he will be, unless for some reason he's very terrible and we want to call up Delorier instead. But aside from that, Ladislav Smid, and we could do Laddie Schmid, why not? He's young too. Just want to make sure these younger guys are getting a chance to maybe get some good growth. So we'll probably do block shots for Smid. I don't know how much shots he blocks a game, so let's just do the 1 per game at least, because I'm not too sure if he'll block 2 shots per game or not, but 1 should be fine. He should be able to achieve that, hypothetically. So there is him. And we have 2 of our youngsters, Petrie, Eberle, and everybody else probably doesn't matter too much to me, so let's just get Petrie and Eberle done with, and then we'll see if we can get them to grow a little bit. So for Petrie, since this is his rookie season, let's do a stat challenge for him and just see if he could get at least 15 assists in his rookie season. I expect him to be able to, because he does have 85 passing. So let's give him a chance to get some good growth in the offensive attributes. And in Eberle, we should go probably goal scoring since he is a sniper. So we'll go season goal, and we will go long term, and we will go to stat challenge. I could go to award challenge for Rookie of the Year, but I don't think he will win Rookie of the Year. Let's just go goals, and at least 20 goals in a rookie season would be kind of nice if Eberle could achieve that. So we'll just do that for our season goals, and I think that's everything we'll do here. So I think we're ready to get into starting to simulate. So let's go through the preseason. We'll take a look at some stats and see how everybody is doing in the preseason. And then obviously we'll get to the regular season and simulate probably like halfway of the season. So what does Kessler think of a roster on paper right now? Let's actually go preseason focus. And let's go with, I guess we'll go 5v5 focus. Why not? And what does our coach think of our season goal this year? He says, looking at our roster on paper, there's some kinks to work out, but this team is good enough to compete for a playoff spot. Wow, he thinks we're actually good enough to make the playoffs this year. I don't really want to make the playoffs this year, so I might have to make some more changes soon if we are actually playing too good. So hopefully our team gets off to a bad start. If we don't get off to a good start, that would be nice. If we get off to a good start, we might have to look into coaching adjustments or trading away somebody like Horkov or Hemsky early this season. So 4-0 in the preseason, pretty good preseason. Good goals against, good offense as well. Let's take a look at some stats, see if Eberle had a good preseason or not. But let's take a look at it for fun, even though the preseason really doesn't matter at all. So Cogliano had a good season, or preseason, 7 points in 4 games. Horkov had 6 points, so Horkov actually might be too good almost for that second line right now. Eberle had 4 goals and 5 points in 4 preseason games, so there's a chance Jordan Eberle could have a really good year, or he just had a good preseason at least, but we'll have to see that. And then, aside from that, I mean, Petrie didn't pick up a single point. That's kind of unfortunate. And goaltending-wise, a 961 from Habibulin. Now, Habibulin's definitely somebody that could get dealt throughout the season as well, if he actually simulates that good. Obviously, last year he had a really good playoffs, so I'm kind of hoping he doesn't simulate that well this season, so that way we can maybe run Dubnyk and Delorier instead at some point if we decide to trade away the Bullen wall. So let's simulate to the regular season now and see what this team can do in the regular season. We'll take it 1 month at a time, but like I said, there is a chance we might stop simulating early depending on if this team is doing good or not, which hopefully isn't too good, because obviously I would prefer to have a high up pick in this year's draft and not make the playoffs like last season, because last season probably shouldn't have happened, but it did. So let's go to the end of October, see what we're like at this point in time. Hopefully we get some good production from our younger guys. That's what I'm hoping for. And we also lose a bunch of games. Lucas Krejcik's on waivers. I don't need him, so I'm not going to claim him. But we did lose our first 2 games. Ilkka Heikkinen is also on waivers. I don't remember how old this guy is. 25 years old. He's more of an AHL defender. Would be nice to have a 75 overall AHL defender added to our team, maybe. But we don't really need him. Game against Minnesota, another guy on waivers. Damn, everybody's going on waivers apparently at the start of the season. Anders Eriksson as well. He's pretty old at this point. Not going to claim him. There's 3 straight losses to start the season. 4 straight losses. That's good to see. And then we beat the Canucks there. Now we lose in a shootout to the Kings. So far, we are off to the start we want, which is good. Hopefully our team doesn't all of a sudden go on a big winning streak, though. A third and a 4 for a third and Jay McKee. We don't need Jay McKee. No, thank you. We aren't trying to win the Stanley Cup this season. We do beat Buffalo as well. Joe Corvo. We don't need Corvo. Detroit, we win that one. So now we're on a 3-game winning streak. Pittsburgh, we win as well. See, I knew eventually we'd go on a winning streak after we started off the season bad. Sheldon Souray has been injured with an injured neck. He's out till November the 4th. So for the time being, we're just going to go replace player. But that should get us to lose some games. But we just won 6 in a row after that bad of a start. It's either you start the season off on a really good note and then you become more closer to 500, or you start off the season really bad and all of a sudden start to win a lot. So the fact that we just won 6 in a row, we were at one point 1-5-1, but now we're 7-5-1, which is kind of too good for this team at this point. At least it's still early in the season, so we could still come crumbling back down, but I don't really like that our team's similarly this good early on in terms of wins. But let's go to Ed Alliance for a second, just see how Jordan Eberle is playing in those first month of action. I just want to see if he's actually playing good enough for the NHL. He's jumped up to a 78 already, and he's got 6 points in 13 games. That's not too bad. Obviously, I was hoping maybe for a little bit more in a 13 games, but he's got 3 goals, 6 points. I feel like we could definitely develop him being something decent for this team. Wow, 11 takeaways already, too. Jeez. He's taking away the puck a lot. So might as well keep on playing him up in the NHL for now. I think he's definitely showing that he could be an NHL player. Obviously, it's not the craziest point production, like he's not point per game, but he's definitely at least doing some work for this team already early on in his career. So let's continue to simulate, but we might have to make some more changes to our roster here soon. We'll go one more month and see what we're like at that point. If we're way above 500, we might need to find ourselves a worse coach in order to make us tank, because right now, this team's kind of over-simulating, I think, still a little bit. So let's go to the 30th and see what we do in the month of November. We continue our winning streak as we beat Toronto, and Sheldon Souray is back, which is good news and bad news, because obviously having him in our lineup should make us a better team. And right now, Taylor Chorney was on that top line, so we'll get Souray back in. Perfect. So we're on a long winning streak. We do beat Dallas. We beat Dallas again. Oh, man. We're winning way too many games consecutively. We lose an overtime there and win that game. We have not lost a game in regulation in quite some time here at this point in time. And there's our first loss in regulation in a while. We do beat Nashville, though, to respond, and then we lose to Nashville after that. Strudwick's never injured. And Hemsky's been injured with an upper body injury. He's out till the 24th, so that's a quite substantial blow that might set this team's offense off a little bit, but we might have to think about trading Hemsky soon, because if he becomes injury prone like he was in real life, that wouldn't be good. So let's go replace player on that. We win that game against the Coyotes, as Hemsky is already back, so he only missed a game, which is not bad. But yeah, we are kind of still over simulating here, so we might honestly not simulate a lot in this episode. We might have to look for some potential trades already. So let's see. We beat Ottawa. I don't know what we did against Dallas on the 23rd, but we do beat the Coyotes. Man, we're 17-7-2. Okay, we're definitely needing to make some changes. Our current head coach is way too good for our team. Just way too good. We should not be this good of a team. We're 7-2-1 in our last 10 games as well. Currently, if we look at our individual stats, we're second in goals for per game, so we're getting really good offense from our team. We're 13th in goals against. We're second on the power play and 10th on the penalty kill. So we have good special teams. Our goals against per game is pretty average, and our goals for per game is really good. So I don't know why this team's doing this well, but they are. Trying to think, because I don't really know if I want to simulate more if our team's going to be doing this well. So we could readjust the coaching staff and find ourselves somebody else. It's probably because this coach is an A-. If we promoted somebody like Harkins instead, we probably would do a lot worse. So we might do that in the next episode. If you guys think I should promote Harkins instead, make Kessler an assistant coach, let me know. Or else we could just go to the coaching staff that's available and find somebody that's like a really bad fit for our team that also has a low rating. So we could go for somebody like, if we go all the way down here, let's see, somebody like, there's a low 50s, 56. If we go for like a 56 or something like that, it should definitely make us way worse. But also, I don't really want guys like Eberle to get their growth stunted because of a coach. So it's kind of a tough dilemma with that because we don't really want to be a playoff team. So there is that. Let's take a look at some stats and see what's been going good for our team so far. Obviously, we know we've been a good offensive team at the moment, but I'm kind of curious on who's been doing what for this team that has been helping us simulate way too good. So Hemsky's over point per game right now. That's not ideal. If we just look at forwards in general, Hemsky's over point per game. Is it the year to trade away Ales Hemsky? It might be. Yes, he might be definitely why we've been simulating so good. I do really like Hemsky, and I would like to have him for another year or so, but he might be making us over-simulate, so if we trade him away this season, we could probably get a really good return for him, but I'm not too sure what exactly. So Hemsky is obviously maybe trade bait. Horkov is still over point per game, so I know Horkov is kind of old at this point and not very useful, but he should be able to fetch us something decent if we could get him to waive his no movement clause. Now, he might not want to waive his no movement clause with how this team has started off the season, so that's not ideal, but we could definitely still see if he wants to waive it or not. Patrick O'Sullivan's been really good. Maybe we want to get rid of O'Sullivan before he makes our team simulate too good. Cogliano's been good, 21 points for him. He's obviously not going to be traded yet. Gagne on 20 points, he's been good. We're not going to trade him yet either. Eberle's been actually really good now. He's starting to pick up his pace a little bit. 11 goals, which is second on the team in goals behind only Hemsky. He's got 16 points in 26 games. He's looking pretty solid. Let's take a look at those individual numbers a little bit more in depth. 3 game-winning goals, 4 power play points, and 17 hits. Okay, yeah, some good numbers. Some pretty good numbers. So I do really like the way Jordan Eberle is playing. I think he's definitely useful to keep on our top 6 because he is actually producing at an NHL level, which is good. Brule on 14 points. See, if we got rid of Horkov and moved Brule up, Brule and Eberle could play together, and they probably would do similar numbers still. Pouliot on 12 points, Nilsson on 11, Jones on 8, Patolny on 7, Reddick's on 5, and Menard scored in his only game. So our depth scoring is not too bad. Not too bad at all. We don't really have a lot of good plus minuses, but we don't have a lot of minus players either. So offensively, it's been good as we saw, but Horkov and Hemsky are probably making us over-simulate a little bit here. So we probably have to part ways with Hemsky in next episode if we want to. And in Horkov, we have to try and get him to waive. I don't know if he will, though, to be honest. From a defensive standpoint, Tom Gilbert's point per game. How the heck is Tom Gilbert doing this well this season? Because last year, I don't feel like he was this good, right? Last year, he had 39 points. Okay, so he was actually pretty good last year, but he's point per game here in 2025, which is basically 2010-11. So, yeah, Tom Gilbert's trade value is definitely going up. Definitely going up. He's only signed for 1 more year. We could part ways with him, hypothetically, because maybe that's why we're simulating too good, as our defense still has high ratings. So we will see about maybe moving out Gilbert. Whitney's also been good, 15 points. Soure's got 10 points in 23 games, so Sheldon Soure's not doing as good as I anticipated. We could definitely still part ways with him because he's signed for 2 years. I believe Whitney might be as well. I don't know, 3 years. But these 3 guys could probably all get part ways with, unless we wanted to hold on to Gilbert instead. But Gilbert's definitely proving to me that he's the number 1 defenseman, and Soure's kind of on that decline mode a little bit because he is 34. Throwback has 5 goals, which is kind of crazy. I don't know how he has 5 goals because he's not a goal-scoring player at all. Shooting 23.8% right now. Petrie on 5 points. Petrie's not doing as much offensively as hoping for, but he doesn't have power play time. He might eventually get some power play time, though. Schmid on 5 points. Chorney has nothing. Not bad. Goaltending-wise, Heavy Bullen hasn't been good, but Dubnyk has actually been okay. So maybe we want to think about moving out from the Bullen wall so then we could run Dubnyk and Delorier, because Delorier is probably playing too good in Springfield at the moment. Like, let's take a look at Springfield briefly. Yeah, Delorier is kind of too good for the AHL almost, but not good really enough for the NHL. And then Brian Pitten's actually playing pretty well too in Springfield. Aside from that, we do not have really much else in terms of prospects down there to look out for, other than Pay Arvey, I guess, 21 points in 26 games. He's getting close to being a 4th-line guy for this team, so that's actually quite exciting. Omar, how about him? 75 as well for him. So we may give a chance to Omar and Payarvi down the stretch if we do move out from Hemsky. I think that's not a bad idea. And in centers, Riley Nash has been good down in Springfield. We'll see if he makes it. Cody Hodgson's also been good, 24 points. He's also very close. Anton Lander on 12 points. He's not been too bad, 73 at 19. Okay. So we might have some guys that make it soon, which is good. All right, let's take a look at some stats around the league as well through these first 26 games. I was debating about literally simulating halfway through the season, but I want to see if we can make our team worse in next episode earlier on. So let's take just a quick look at who's leading the league in points at this moment. Currently it's Semin with 48 points in 27 games. God damn. Semin is absolutely insane right now. So he has 22 goals, which is tied for the league lead, it looks like, with Malkin, but man, he's having a crazy year. That top line in Washington of Semin, Ovechkin, and Backstrom is absolutely cracked. God damn. Yeah. Multiple 20 goal scorers already. And then most assists right now is probably Backstrom. Yeah, 31 assists. Not a surprise. All right. Best defenseman so far this season, Mike Green. Damn, Washington's having a crazy offensive year. Tom Gilbert's actually second in defensive points. So there's a chance Tom Gilbert could win in Norris if Mike Green slows down a bit, which I don't know if he will. But Tom Gilbert simulating this good is not what I was anticipating this year. From a goaltending perspective so far, the most wins so far is Jimmy Howard. Best save percentage by starter right now is Cam Ward with a .925. And goals against average by starter right now is Luongo with a .226. But Cam Ward's also up there again. Damn. Any goalie goals so far? Nope. Best rookie this season so far is Olsen, who went first overall. Jordan Eberle is second in rookie points. So, shout out to Jordan Eberle. He's up there with Tyler Seguin and Jeff Skinner. And then also Grabner's up there too. Interesting, okay. So there is all that. Let's take a look at some potential trades that we could potentially make in next episode. Like I said, we have to waive the trade value, or trade, I should say, waive Horkov to get him to go up for trade. So I don't know if we're going to be able to part ways with him. But in case you guys want to see what his value is like right now, it might be an okay time to part ways with him, if we can, just because that value is decently high. Aside from that, Whitney's got good value. He's actually got more value than Horkov if we wanted to part ways with him. Where is Sure? Sure actually still has a lot of value. He has more value than Gilbert. We probably should part ways with multiple defenders if we can. Sure and Whitney, hold on to Gilbert maybe because he's been good this year. Hard to say. But Ales Hemsky still has the most value on this team, as you can see at the moment. So I think we know who we want to trade, which would be Hemsky, maybe multiple defensemen, and then probably try and get Horkov to get dealt as well. Obviously, we're going to have to take back some salary cap, though, or else we're going to be under the minimum cap by quite a large margin, because those three guys, or four guys even, make up most of our cap space that we have right now. So with that said, let's go to our trading block for a second here. We're going to readjust our trading block, and then we're going to go find trade on Hemsky and see what kind of offers we could get potentially for somebody like Ales Hemsky. Like, are we going to be able to get a good return for Hemsky this year? Because I feel like moving Hemsky this year might be a good play. I was going to wait till next year, but I feel like his trade value is at an all-time high probably, and it probably drops off in the last year of his deal maybe. It's tough to say, but if we go look for younger guys, let's go 17 to 26, I guess. We'll do a forward and defense and goalie as well, just to see if we get any crazy offers for somebody like Ales Hemsky. So we'll go defense for this as well. We'll go 17 to 26. And yeah, hopefully we get some offers thrown at us with this, because I honestly don't really know what I want for Hemsky. Like, I want to see a crazy offer thrown to me for him, if possible. And current picks, I don't really care about 4th round picks. 3rd round picks, 2nd round picks, and a 1st round pick, we'll keep that on there. And same with future picks as well. I don't really care about the 4th plus. So we'll see if we could get potential a trade offer for Hemsky that we can maybe contemplate for next episode. So let's go to find trade. We'll also do the same offers with like Sure and all that just to see what we could get for them. So let's actually leave Hemsky until the end just because I know everybody's waiting for us to see what we could get for him. What could we get for somebody like Ryan Whitney? Can we get anything for Whit? We could get 2 second-round picks in Tim Stapleton from the Atlanta Thrashers. That's not ideal. 2 second-rounders is okay, but Tim Stapleton's not much of anything. Montreal is willing to give us Yaroslav Halak, who they just recently re-signed to a 5-year deal. It's probably because Carey Price is obviously there too. They'd also give us a top 9 prospect in a third. That's not bad, but Halak might make us too good right now. And I'm not too sure how Dubnyk's still going to pan out with this team. And then there's Tampa willing to give us 2 second-rounders and Robert Lang, which obviously I don't want an old guy like Lang. So I'm not too really fond of much of those offers unless it was the Halak deal, but I'm not too sure if I want Halak right now because it might make us over-simulate still. We aren't going to go to Horkov because obviously I don't know if he's going to waive yet. We're going to go to Tom Gilbert and Sure as well just to see if those offers are out there for us. The same offer out there for Tom Gilbert. We could send him to Montreal where he played in real life for Halak a third and D. Salvatore again. It's not a bad offer, like I said. And then Sheldon Sure has a little bit more value. No deals are found for Sheldon Sure. That's kind of surprising. What about Ales Hemsky? And nothing's found for Hemsky either. I wonder if it's because of his cap hit. I'm not too sure. Because maybe some teams can't afford him. What about Heavy Bullen? If you want to trade away the Bullen wall still this year. No trades found. So it looks like we're going to have to actually find our own trades on a lot of these guys in next episode if we want to. So we're going to probably just go through the trading block early this season and see if there's options out there. But kind of surprised that Hemsky doesn't show up with any trade offers. It's got to be Kappa related, right? Speaking of Cap related, I don't think Boston ends up re-signing. Actually, what day of the year are we in? We're on November 30th, so we're right near the end of the RFA status. So let me actually advance one more day so we could be on December 1st. Because I am curious if Boston had to trade away Blake Wheeler or if he's holding out the entire year. Because I almost forgot that Blake Wheeler wasn't re-signed yet. Let's see. RFAs. They might have signed him or they traded him. Did they sign him? Oh, they did re-sign him. Okay, they managed to afford him barely. It's just kind of surprising because I didn't think they had the cap space to bring him back after they signed Yager, but they got him on a 1-year deal at 2020. But they have only $138,000 in cap space in Boston now. So that's interesting. And that's with having not the craziest guys pending UFA, I guess. Oh, Chara's pending UFA. Oh, man. Zdeno Chara could be a free agent at the end of the year. I mean, Yager's a pending free agent, though, too. So maybe they could find a way to re-sign him. But we'll see what they end up doing with Yager. That's crazy. And then also, I guess, Brad Marchand's going to need a bigger deal out of his RFA status. Okay. Interesting. I just wanted to take a look at that for fun. But let's go to the trading block and just see if we could find anything potentially out there that's interesting for the guys we want to potentially move out in next episode. So there is prospects on the block, but I don't really know which prospects develop still and all that. You guys can let me know if there's anybody you see here that's intriguing. But Tim Thomas is on the block now, so maybe Boston's actually going to prioritize Rask now over Tim Thomas. But Tim Thomas is signed for a 3-year deal at $5 million. He's 36 years old, so I don't think he's very much useful for that reason. He's just going to probably drop off. Buffalo's got nothing whatsoever. Calgary has Ortio. Carolina put Penner on the block after we dealt him there. How has Penner been doing actually in Carolina, speaking of Penner? He has been really good. He's point per game. Kind of surprised that they want to move on from him. But yeah, he's been good in Carolina so far. Sergei Samsonov, Rod Brindamore, some old boys. Cole and Pothier, or Pothier, I should say. Brock Nelson's on the block as a prospect. That's not bad from Chicago, but they are definitely very tight on cap space. So trading somebody like Hemsky to Chicago probably won't work because of the cap situation. So just got to keep that in mind. Colorado has Hannon, Pricing, Metropolit on the block. Columbus has Kim Johnson, Pavel Kabina, Rostislav Klesla, Jan Heda. A lot of defensemen. Dallas, Bill Guerin, Steve Otts on the block at 28 years old. That's not bad, but he is signed for 4 years. So he is one of the younger options, though, on the block. Gustav Nyquist is on the block. He would be kind of intriguing to have as a prospect. He is still only a 74 at 21, though, so I don't really know how he's going to pan out, though. Also, his shooting categories are literally 1.5 star. I don't know why they're not developing that well, but he is, I guess, more of a playmaker, but damn. There's also this guy who's generated as a top 64 prospect. So Detroit's trying to offload some prospects. Clay Wilson, wasn't it? Yeah, Clay Wilson. I almost wanted to say Colin Wilson, but then I saw it was a defenseman. Los Angeles just has some prospects, including a top 60 drafted Oscar Moeller, Dwight King, Andrei Loktianov, and Marc-Andre Cliche. Minnesota, Eric Howlett's on the block. That's not too bad. He is a 70 at 19. Yeah, Howlett's not that bad. Howlett would be actually a good face-off guy for the bottom six if he develops, but not too sure if I would need to make a trade with Minnesota or not. Halak is on the block still. Halak would be interesting, but I don't know if, like I said, he'd make us too good right now. Brian Rust on the block. Gabriel Bork. Wait, did they draft Gabriel Bork in this, or was he already in this? I think he already was, yeah. I already made him in this. I forgot about that. Nick Palmieri's on the block. Matt Halschuk. Charlie Coyle. Definitely a lot of prospects out there that we could potentially get if we do decide to move out Hemsky this year, but I don't really know what I still really want for Hemsky at this point. Like, I was kind of hoping to get a trade offer so that way I could kind of understand it better. Chris Kelly and Mike Fisher are on the block. Hey, that makes a lot of sense. Both these guys actually left the Sens, I think, this season, if I'm not mistaken. So that's kind of funny. Philadelphia, not really anybody, just some prospects, including a generated prospect named Bufflin. Phoenix has Peter Pruka, Jim Vandermeer, some older veteran defensemen, and Ryan White. Brooks Orpik's on the block in Pittsburgh. That's actually kind of interesting, but he is 30 at this point in time. What else we got here? San Jose, not really much. Some good prospects, though, I guess, like Wingles. St. Louis has Martin Biron on the block. Chris Chelios in St. Louis. How has Chris Chelios been as a Blue out of curiosity? 4 points in 26 games, -1. Last year in Pittsburgh, he was really good, though. But that's kind of funny. He almost won a Stanley Cup with the Penguins. So shout out to 48-year-old Chris Chelios. He probably retires at the end of the season. If he doesn't, I'd be surprised. Marco Sturm at 32 years old as well as there. Tampa's got Lang, White. Yeah, there's a lot of veterans. P.A. Parento kind of is interesting, though. He's 27. He's listed as a depth forward. He has not played a single game this season. Had 30 points last year, though, with the Rangers. And played also 7 playoff games. I do think P.A. Parento was an underrated player in his time, but I don't really know if he's a player I can really get onto this team. I don't think so. Maybe I can. Toronto has Caberlet on the block. Makes sense. Jay McKee, Jeff Fingers on the block. Stuff like that. Vancouver, Connaughton. Yeah, there's definitely options for potential trades, like Orlov as a prospect. But I'm not too sure if it's worth moving Hemsky for those type of guys. Obviously, I'd probably move Hemsky for picks and prospects, so maybe you want to move him for a pick instead. But if I go to proposed trade, though, what teams have interest in Hemsky at the moment? Just so we can kind of have a better understanding of what deals we could potentially make. So the Atlanta Thrashers like Hemsky. The Boston Bruins like Hemsky. Buffalo likes Hemsky. But a lot of these teams would be over the cap. Calgary has interest in Hemsky, which would be kind of strange sending him to Calgary. I'd probably get ridiculed for doing something like that. Detroit has interest in Hemsky, but they do actually have the cap space for Hemsky. Interesting. So Detroit could work. We could get somebody like Nyquist back, but I don't know if he's going to pan out. But Detroit does have a lot of interest. They're also very good this season, just like us. Florida has interest and they have cap space. LA has interest, but no cap space. Minnesota has cap space, just barely. And they have interest, even though they're below 500. Montreal has interest, but they'd be over the cap. Nashville has interest, but they'd be over the cap. The Islanders have interest. They'd have cap space as well. Rangers have interest, but it would have no cap space. Ottawa doesn't have interest, which is kind of surprising because Hemsky actually went there in the 2012-13 season, right? Yeah. Or no, it was 2013-14 that he got dealt. So Philadelphia has interest, no cap space though. Coyotes have interest with cap space. Mostly every team in the NHL is interested. Pittsburgh's interested with no cap space. Same with San Jose. Toronto has interest with a lot of cap space. Vancouver has interest with cap space, and that's it. So a lot of teams he could be potentially dealt to if we want to trade him away in the next episode. But like I said, if we trade away, say, like him, if we traded away Sure, Gilbert, Whitney, like all the guys that we were thinking about trading away, not adding Horkov to that, we'd be way below the cap, as you can see. We'd be down to like 34 million in cap, so we would need to take back a lot of salary in order to stay cap compliant. Like, we can probably trade away one guy and still have cap space, but I just don't want to be below the cap floor, which means we'd have to take back a prospect, a pick, and somebody that's making a good chunk of money, so that way we don't fall below that floor, so to speak. So we'll definitely have to look into that next episode. Final thing that we'll take a look at here is the draft class, because I do want to show you guys what 2011's draft class is looking like a little bit. We do have 2 second-round picks this year, obviously because of the Dustin Penner trade, so let's take a look at this draft class a little bit more so you guys can kind of understand who's available. So Nikita Kucherov is the top prospect, so that's why it would be nice to have the first overall pick, is because we could get Kucherov. If we didn't get Kucherov, there's a generated guy named LaBarbera, but there's also Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, which obviously the Oilers drafted first overall in real life. Mika Zibanejad's there, Gabriel Landeskog, Jonathan Huberdeau, Johnny Gaudreau. Like, there's some pretty damn good players in the early stages of this draft. So this draft is definitely, I'd say, a lot better than the prior one. So if we want to make our team worse, this is the draft class that we should probably start making our team worse for, if we're going to. Who was that listed as a bust? Connor Murphy's listed as a bust. That's kind of funny. I don't say he was a bust, but yeah, there's also some other guys like J.G. Pajot late in the draft, Tobias Reeder, Joel Armia, Barclay Goodrow. So we should be able to get some okay prospects for our team, which is good, as long as we maybe drop off a bit. There's also some good goalie prospects, too, in this class. John Gibson, Jordan Binnington are in this draft class. Then it kind of drops off quite a bit, though, to like Laurent Brossoit, Anton Forsberg. So, yeah, I don't really know if we're going to get much in terms of goalie prospects this year. But I do think if we make our team bad right now, we could definitely start dropping off a lot and maybe get one of these elite prospects that are supposed to go in the top 7. I don't know if I should draft Johnny Gaudreau if I have the chance, though, just because Gaudreau in Edmonton is kind of almost a little bit disgusting to see. Huberdeau in Edmonton would be kind of weird too, but I wouldn't mind having somebody like Landeskog, Zibanejad, Nugent-Hopkins, or Kucherov, or even this generated guy in LaBarbera too. So if we could find a way to get this team to fall off, that would be quite nice. I also want to go to our draft board because, like I said, we have 2 second-round picks. What do they say we should get with our second-rounders? Adam Lowry. Adam Lowry as a second-round pick would be fantastic. Of course, he just scored the game-winning goal for the Jets the other day, but that would be nice. And then our own second-round pick, Stefan Nason. What does it say with our first-rounder currently? Late first-rounder like Boone Jenner? Yeah, see, I'd prefer to maybe have an earlier pick in this draft class because Boone Jenner's good, but is he better than having a guy like Nugent-Hopkins on this team for the future? Not too sure. Third-rounder, Freddie Claesson is saying. Laurent Brossoit in the 4th round. That's kind of funny. Anton Forsberg there as well. Anybody else that would say for these later drafts? Lucas Alessio. I'm not drafting Lucas Alessio. No, it's no chance. All right. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Edmonton Oilers Throwback 2010 franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll probably simulate more, probably like up to a day before the trade deadline. We definitely need to find a way to make this team worse, though, in that span, so that way we don't end up making the playoffs. So the plan is to potentially make some early trades in next episode, make us fall off, and then we can obviously take it to the trade deadline the episode after that and make some more moves if necessary. But this team's kind of over-simulating, so we probably want to find a way to drop off a bit, so that way we can maybe get some more good prospects in. Because obviously, if we keep making the playoffs in these early years, we're going to eventually be stuck with kind of a bad prospect pool early on, and it's going to take a lot longer to build this team up through a rebuild. So, think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.